Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be reorganizing Ginkgopolis, designed by Xavier Georges and published by Pearl Games. This is a fully sleeved copy of the game that's organized to keep the Experts expansion reprint as well as the core game into a single box with no lid lift. If you're interested in any of the items that we talk about during the video, please take a look in the description of the video where you'll find links to everything. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure that you do. It is the best way to help us grow. Let's get started organizing Ginkgopolis. Let's lift the lid off, and inside you'll see that we have the rulebooks to the game draped on top. First that core game rulebook and then the expansion rulebook. Underneath that, we have all of the player shields for the game, as well as some extra sleeves. All cards in the game are sleeved using the standard European board game size sleeves. We have Gamegenic matte sleeves on this current copy, but our main primary sleeve of this size we use are the Fantasy Flight Purple. I'll leave links in the description, once again, for any of the things I talk about in this video. You'll notice that our box is divided into 3 sections. We have this top section here with tiles and cards, this middle section here with all of our tokens, and then our bottom section here with all of our other tiles. We've removed and cut the insert in this bottom section here in order to make a large tile tray. This keeps everything from moving around and makes it so you can easily identify which tiles goes where for setup and for storage. Let's start off with these building tiles on the bottom. Starting off with our core game building tiles, you'll simply shuffle all of these and remove some based on the player count, but these have all of your different numbers for all of the 3 different colors. Put those in a general area. To the left of the core game building tiles, separated by going back and forth, just flipping the tiles around, you'll have your level 2 and level 3 building tiles from the Experts expansion. You'll play these if you decide to incorporate these modules and put them in their own individual stacks. Let's remove the rest of these core game building tiles, and I'll quickly show you how we trimmed that base game organizer in order to make a nice little tile tray. So we simply cut out these little pieces like so, and then place that into that section in the bottom here. It fits extremely well, and does a great job with holding and storing those tiles. Now let's move to the top section, where we're going to keep all of our cards as well as the remainder of the tiles. So first off, we have that first player card, and then all of your starting deck cards. These are going to have all of the colors from 1 to 3, as well as all of your letter cards. So you'll have those set aside so they're easily identifiable. Underneath that, we have all of our base game assistant cards. You'll draft these at the start of each game for your starting resources, as well as your player abilities. And then we have all of our colored cards, and these are going to be from numbers 23 to 4 for each color, and you're going to put them into the deck based on what tiles populate the board. These go all the way from the level 1 and level 2 tiles, but there are no cards for the level 3 tiles. So you have all of those for those 3 colors in that deck here. You then have some reference cards that come into the Experts expansion, and that way you can see what abilities are associated with each color of card. This is great so you can get an idea of what's coming up. And lastly, you're going to have your 10 Expert cards, which have some incredible abilities, as well as tell you, if you're playing with the events modules, which event tiles to grab. Speaking of event tiles, on this right side of the cards, you're going to have all of your event as well as your green space tiles. You'll separate them by category because based on those modules you're playing with, you'll need to grab a specific tile. So you'll just have all of those based on their type in that right side there. To the right of the green space and event tiles, you'll have all of your starting tiles. Use these to populate your city. These are all the numbers from 1 to 3 in the different colors. You can clearly identify them based on their yellow back here. And this brings us to the center section, which is going to hold a lot of your tokens. First off, we have all of our player bags. These are just going to have all of your resources for each of the colors. Pass that to the player that wants to be that color. You'll have them in a bag because you only will be using a specific amount of them based on the number of players that are playing the game. We've got a silica gel packet in here for freshness, and then we have a Dollar Tree organizer, a simple organizer for $1 that's going to keep all of our components nice and separated. We have our 2 remaining bags of resources for those 2 final player colors inside. We've got our new hand tokens, our construction site pawns for when you place new tiles on the board, and then our urbanization tokens in alphabetical order that you'll populate onto that main game board. And lastly, you'll have all of your different success points that you'll be gathering throughout the game. And that's everything in the box. Let's go ahead and pack it up. First off, we'll start with that organizer. We'll pop that lid up and put in the remaining components. We've got those 2 additional player colors that will slide inside, and then we'll close that lid up. We'll put all of our yellow-backed starting tiles in this upper right section, followed by all of our event tiles and green space tiles. We'll then place all of the cards in the game in the upper left side here, pressing that organizer against it to keep it nice and snug. We'll place our tile tray in this bottom section here, all of our level 2 and 3 tiles in this bottom left side, and then your base game building tiles to fill up the rest of this bottom organizer. Make sure that they're facing opposite directions so you can clearly identify which is which. We'll put a silica gel packet in here for freshness, and then our remaining player pieces. We'll put some extra sleeves in this upper right section, followed by the player shields. our expansion and core game rulebook, and that is reorganizing Ginkgopolis. If you have any questions about what you saw here, please let me know down in the comments below. How do you organize your copy of Ginkgopolis? What do you think of the Experts expansion? How do you rate Ginkgopolis amongst other area control games? We'd love to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching SideGame Strong.